Consume product. Consume product. Consume product. Astro. Check description for link. 5% off. Consume product. Are you okay?
Bye.
Hello everyone. Today I have two major talking points for all of you. The first of which you've probably already heard of, the delay of the Beyond Light expansion. It will no longer be releasing on September 22nd. It is now slated for November 10th, a much more significant delay than what we experienced with Shadowkeep. As a result, the current season will be extended, Moments of Triumph will be extended, and Festival of the Lost will still happen this year. Bungie says they have some other things planned, but they appear to mostly be based on bonus Valor and Infamy events and Iron Banner, although one of these events is unknown. For the most part, I'm just going to echo what I said in my video on my thoughts on the delay of Shadowkeep. What are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? Obviously, COVID has taken its toll on many things, and shifting the workflow of a 600-person team from a studio with the proper infrastructure to handle it to sending everyone home is probably going to slow things down in some way. We don't know how much of the delay is specifically related to the shift to working at home, but it's clearly enough to warrant a delay. Beyond Light is removing a ton of stuff from the world. They're likely having to streamline a lot of the game in a different way, and I imagine that is a much bigger undertaking than we might be giving them credit for. While it's unfortunate that the delay is much larger this time, we'll live, we'll live. I would much rather have a delay and a working product than no delay and significant launch issues. Now, do I think this delay is for Bungie to create a bunch more content for the launch of the expansion? Absolutely not. The expansion is likely content and feature complete, and this extra window is more likely for them to iron out any rough patches with the game or to finish things that they initially thought they were going to finish in time. Not really to make more content. I'm sure Bungie didn't make this decision lightly either. You think Bungie wants to be competing with other games in November of all months? They had September almost to themselves. Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Cyberpunk, Watch Dogs. This is likely to be a large revenue loss for Bungie as a result. This is definitely not a for the hell of it kind of move. So yes, it's unfortunate and I'm gonna hate the wait, but like I said, there's not really a whole lot we can do about it anyway. And in case you couldn't tell, no, I'm not really asking for Bungie's head. I don't plan on making ridiculous requests like free copies of the game, additional content somehow developed in the next 2 months to be put in the game immediately, or whatever other hot takes are currently out there. No, I don't think this is a massive conspiracy to get pre-orders and trick people, as I'm sure you can get refunded if you submit some form of a ticket. I'm sure we'll get some more info on that if it's not already there. Again, refer to the start of this paragraph. This is going to hit Bungie in the wallet pretty hard. What I would suggest is to use this time to play other games that you haven't been able to play if you want. I would not try to keep playing Destiny and forcing yourself to play when you don't have anything to do. Do not burn yourself out. I know I'm going to be using my free time to hit up some other games. People have been begging me to play Final Fantasy XIV. Might try that out. We'll see. That's all I really have on the delay. We've been through this before. We will live, but it is very unfortunate to say the least. The other topic I wanted to discuss, which is something I very briefly mentioned in my Beyond Light reveal video, is Lightfall, the 2022 expansion. I've gotten the question, do you think Lightfall will be the end of the Destiny franchise, a lot more recently? And after some discussions I had on stream, I think the answer is unlikely, and I'll explain why. As much crap as we give Destiny on a near daily basis, it is a once-in-a-decade level game in terms of staying power. There are very few games-as-a-service games out there that have lasted and thrived as long or longer than Destiny has. I'm not exactly talking Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed, but they're in a similar boat with games that come out yearly or every so often. I ask you to think about the last time a company has willingly given up on a game as a service franchise that has been worked on for years or decades just because they felt like stopping development and moving on for whatever reason other than financial. Unironically, my chat came up with Club Penguin, but Club Penguin did not shut down because Disney thought it was time to move on because they were bored. It was because of waning popularity, and it likely wasn't profitable to keep it going. Massively popular games do not just stop development because the developers feel like doing something else. I feel like it very rarely happens. And if it does happen, it happens probably for other reasons, like poor management, development problems, or waning popularity. World of Warcraft, Fortnite, both Final Fantasy MMOs, Minecraft, Hearthstone, all of these games are still rolling, I'm gonna guess, in part because they generate a lot of revenue or enough revenue to make it worthwhile. Bungie's a pretty large studio, and Destiny funds that studio as far as we know since they're self-publishing now. So purely from a business standpoint, I imagine Bungie has a lot to lose by ending Destiny in 2022. We know that Bungie is potentially working on a new game, but in order for that new game to come out in 2022 or 2023, they would already need to be working on and developing it, and even then, that's still probably not enough time. We know they got a bunch of money from NetEase a couple of years ago, but what that money is doing exactly, I have no idea. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know what Bungie's finances look like, but I'll just guess that stopping development on Destiny is maybe not in their best financial interests. Not only that, but whatever game Bungie is making would likely have to be on the level of Destiny in order to sustain the company at the scale that it is right now. Making a once-in-a-decade kind of game is pretty tough to do, although I do realize that Bungie has now done it twice, back to back. So based on all of that, I would be surprised if the final expansion of Destiny is Lightfall. The game is too much of a hit to stop making, and for the most part, the main reason companies stop putting resources into things is because they are not getting enough of a return to keep them going. Lore-wise, I could see things culminating in Lightfall, but Bungie spoke about eras of Destiny. I don't see why they couldn't have an era of redemption or something like that from 2023 to 2025. Perhaps we push farther into the darkness themes and whatnot. Anything. There are plenty of storylines in Destiny that have yet to be wrapped up, and there's plenty more that could be made up as well. While concluding a major storyline could happen in 2022, there's no reason that they couldn't come up with more to do in the future. I also don't think the release of Lightfall guarantees any sort of Destiny 3 scenario. Bungie seemed adamant about keeping things in Destiny 2, but a lot of things can change in 2 to 3 years, so it's certainly possible. Like I said in my I don't think we're going to have a Destiny 3 anytime soon video, if they can build stuff in Destiny 2, I don't see why they would make a Destiny 3. Destiny would need significant architectural changes, whether it's the engine or networking or, I don't know, whatever else goes into it before we get a Destiny 3, in my opinion. This is all speculation. I cannot make that clear enough. That's what I have for you today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.